You know, it'd be nice if whenever we thought we needed a handgun, that we had a Glock 20 10mm, 15 rounds at our disposal, at whatever ammo we prefer. That would be nice. Big old Glock 20, very powerful, very easy to shoot, very reliable. Almost the ultimate in a semi-automatic pistol when you get right down to it, at least in terms of power, effectiveness, reliability. You know, just a great gun, right? Well, come on over here and look at what we've got. It just so happens we can't always have a gun that big, can we? So we're going to look at the Walther PPS today. And you know, look at the front of that baby. A little bit smaller, huh? A little bit thinner, quite a bit lighter, just a smaller gun. Now, I didn't bring the Glock 20 out to compare with the PPS, so I'm going to put that aside. That would just kind of help make the point. We're going to focus mainly on the Walther PPS. A small gun, and this is the type of gun that so many people are looking for, trying to find something that's small enough yet powerful enough to be effective, something that's not a chore to have with them, to shoot, or to even carry, you know, if you live in a CCW state. This is a pretty good choice. It's a gun I want to look at today. We'll give a brief comparison with some others, where it fits, how it fits into the lineup more or less, and just shoot the thing. Okay, the Walther PPS. And as I understand, that stands for Police Pistol Slim, PPS. You know, that German naming system that they use. Police Pistol Slim, I believe, is what it stands for. And who'd have guessed that, right? So let's just take a couple shots to see if it actually works. All right, I think I have the 4 magazines I own loaded. All right. A couple more magazines. Woo, got him. Nice. Not a bad shooting little gun. So I'll get used to it and we'll take a few more shots. This gun it's small. It's not the smallest. And that's kind of what I'm going to give you an idea. I've had a lot of people ask me about it. They knew I had it. And I put some strips of tape on it there. You can see I'm prone to do that, aren't I? It just feels a lot better for me when I do that. I can get a hold of it better and can shoot it better, I think. So, 9mm, if I didn't say that. And that's the neat thing about the guns that are being manufactured today. There are a lot of really cool guns that are small, yet they're 9mm, and they are very shootable. You are familiar with a lot of them, and this is definitely one. It's a very thin gun. I'm not going to get too nerdy today, but I will put the old calipers on it there. Even have the scale out today just to make a point or two. But you'll have to forgive me on that. You know, I normally don't get too nerdy with that kind of stuff, but there's some things about this gun, and I just wanted to point out to you, because I know you're interested in how large it is, maybe even how heavy it is, and how it works. You notice it has a German system there for the mag release, which of course makes that ambidextrous. I say German, I don't know, I'm not an expert on all the guns that they make. I know the H&K has a mag release that's like that. The P30 I reviewed recently, and I've held some of their other firearms or pistols, and they have that type of mag release, and which I had to get used to, and I have kind of gotten used to it. It's kind of neat. It's not a big deal. At first I thought it was very strange, but if you're a lefty, you know, it's not a problem. And if it's in your pocket, maybe it's not as likely to be pushed, you know, and lose your magazine. So there's some advantages to that once you get used to it. And I'm assuming it's as durable as any other. I've never had much trouble with mag releases. I'm assuming that's going to stay there, and the spring is strong, and there's no other negatives associated with it. But I've got kind of used to that, mainly from the H&K I shot so much, and I don't have a big problem with this one either. So this gun is thin, as you can see. It's the LC9, you know, the Ruger. Just came out. Okay. You know, it's a little bigger than that gun. Let's climb up the backs there, the little slide. You see it's a little bit longer. Not a lot, but it's a little bit longer. Okay. And then I'll turn it over and show you the grips, but you notice the barrel's a little bit longer there. Okay. And then in terms of height, grip, well, not bad. It's about the same, isn't it? About the same. Okay. Get my finger out of the way there. There's different shape back here, so I guess how you line them up is a little bit subjective there. Kind of get the most rearward point on both guns. So about the same height, and then the slide's a little bit longer. Frame a little bit thicker here on the PPS. Not a great deal of difference. Not a great deal of difference. Although the LC9 is a little bit bigger than some others. It's just a tad bigger than the car PM9. So I'll give you kind of an idea where they all fit in. Let's put the PM9 first. We'll line him up here. This is really scientific, isn't it? I just didn't want to do the Walther video without getting these others out, give you an idea, get them kind of lined up there. So there you go. That's not a bad picture there. I'll give you my hands where I can steady it. The rear of the slides are pretty much even there, I think. And so you can see the length, height, however you want to compare it, the grip length, where it's upside down. The PM9 has a shorter grip, and it's the shortest of the three. Okay, so you got kind of stair step there. All three pretty small. PM9 wins, I guess, in overall size, but not a big difference. Okay, you give up, I believe, a round. The PM9 holds one round less than the LC9 in standard flush magazine and all that, so there's always a price to pay for a little bit smaller, right? So, and then of course the Glock 26, you know, you have a thicker gun. You know, you're back to the Glock with a thicker slide, about the same length. Look at that, same length slide. So in terms of how long it is, you've got the same gun. You mainly have a difference in thickness. Now I'll show you the grips. Let's check height here. Let's get that around here. Yes, the PPS is going to be a little bit taller, isn't it? Just a little bit. So now that's without magazines, and that's even with a flush magazine on that on the PPS. And I got a Glock magazine. Yeah, let's put the magazines in. Not stand in front of it, but yeah, a little bit longer grip. Not much, not much. Okay. Gives you a little bit of an idea there. All right, so let's take those mags out. I'm not gonna really shoot that. Okay, so that gives you an idea on the size. You might want to just rewind that, look at that all you want to, of course. Let me surprise you with something though. You know, the size is important on a firearm, whether it'll fit. You know, I've got an inside the waistband holster here for this. I've got the CompTac, which I like. I ordered that just for something different. And because I wanted a holster for this gun, kind of felt like I'd maybe keep this gun. I like it, and so I wanted a good holster for it. And it's a little bit like the Crossbreed, kind of built on that same order. Just thought I'd try a different brand. But I really like the Crossbreed style, and I think Galco and other companies now have copied it, and that's a pretty good copy right there. Nice holster, and so it's a thin holster, you know, because you don't need much thickness there, and that's one of the advantages of this gun. Or of course those two guns, is the thinness of that slide, because in an inside the waistband situation you hardly know you have it. You can barely feel it, you know, but yet it's very handy. It's big enough to get a hold of, but it's barely there, and it's very shootable.